Welcome. I believe we're on episode 7. This one is a creation of my, all by myself, no commission, nothing like that. This was this is a drawing. I did a paint over of it in this episode. And this drawing I've done is part of a series I started called the Armored series, and it's just kind of a collection of armored golems or things of that nature, anything that has armor. Kind of slowly but surely getting this collection kind of hashed out. Not sure what I'm going to really do with it yet. I might just paint over each one, do episodes on each one. Maybe make a coloring book or something. I don't know. But I was recently watching some art videos on here, and I came across a channel called Forever Bleeding Heart, I believe. It was just a bunch of time-lapse painting videos, but something caught my eye in one, and that had to do with it caught my eye. It was like a blocking technique, but obviously something I haven't done or tried before. So I had to try it. So it's basically, as you can see as you're watching here, I block out the silhouette of the character, and then I go in right away with a light blue hue, and mark down or start painting where that light would hit. And I wanted the light to kind of be up and then down. Once I got that all done, I actually duplicated the whole layer, so Control J. And then what I did too is I went into color balance. I went into like photo filter, things like that, to kind of manipulate the colors. It was kind of nice because as I was manipulating them, it wasn't too far off from the overall vibe of what I was trying to go for, and all the colors seemed to be kind of in the same playground. I wasn't doing my versus regularly how I would block out like the armor and it'd be its own separate layer, and then I would choose a color for that, and everything starts to kind of look kind of like clowny because it's all these different colors. So I thought this was really neat, and it went over pretty well. But what I did is then I'd take these layers and I'd mask them and have certain parts show through. Like one duplicate was like a dark, as you can see, like a purple vibe almost. I wanted that to be the clothing, so I just masked it, and with a white brush went over the clothing so it showed through. So when I got that all done, it was kind of nice, and then I just started to just paint on top of it. And also with this new brush, it was a little uncomfortable at first because I always use this one brush. And I've used this one brush for a couple of years now, and I'm like, you know what? It's time to break out and try something new. And I'm not sure where this brush came from. I'm just a huge hoarder of brushes and fonts, so I've been sitting on this huge cache of brushes and fonts for a long time. So I can't really remember where any of this stuff came from. But I did find this one, and I like it. It's a little messy, I guess, as you can tell by the shape of it. And I have the brush settings set up in a way where, you have your shape dynamics and everything. I played around with that, opacity, flow, stuff like that. And as I paint, it's not like a solid, right? So it looks more painterly. It's kind of a little loose. And I mean, overall, I really enjoyed using it. I think I'm gonna probably still explore and use different brushes. I think in future videos, I'll definitely be aware of where I got them. I'll probably go into a little bit more detail and go into the settings, show you guys exactly what I did with these, as far as the shape dynamics, stuff like that. So moving on, I want to include And if I'm going to do series like this for each paint over of my drawings, I want to include like a backstory. I want to think of something cool to give the character life. It could be an encounter. Ultimately, I just want to give it life and offer up this piece and every piece that I do to use in your campaigns, or give you ideas. Get the juices flowing, the ideas going. So with this one, I'm pretty sure I was inspired by some concept art of Elden Ring. I think at the time when I drew this, I was watching like Asmongold or something, or maybe Asmongold playing Elden Ring, and some of the enemies and encounters in this game are pretty awesome looking. Dark Souls vibe, right? Unique look and everything. So I think subconsciously I just started looking at references to get a good base, start off with like a pose, like, oh, I like this one, and I start kind of going. But then as I'm drawing it, more and more it looks like an Elden Ring character, or an encounter boss or something. But so as I'm thinking about this, I'm like, okay, he's got the wood going on, like a pale wood. So I'm thinking like, Elden Ring characters, or enemies I should say, they're always roaming around, and you can fight them if you pass through them, whatever. So I kind of imagine like maybe there's more than just one of these guys, and they're, let's say you find them in like a swamp, and the swamp is a bunch of pale wood, and it's misty, and it's always dark, so it's like almost like an ominous, scary type vibe. And they just trudge along in the in the waters, and they carry this lantern, as you can see here, that I painted. And I'm just starting to like think of like, okay, what's the purpose of these guys and stuff like that. And so then I came up with this, right? So these creatures, let's just call them, I think I some cheesy name like Lantern King or something. These guys all serve like this Fey Lord, or perhaps a powerful Lich King, or maybe like a Grand Sorcerer, or Evil Sorcerer, or something like that to do with magic. They served as this Lord's executioners, let's say, and they would enforce the judgment from the Lord, Fey Lord. Let's just go Fey Lord, right? They were like the executioners. They are the enforcers. They would carry out the sentencing of convicted, what have you. That huge cleaver / sword made out of this pale wood. It wasn't just wood, right? Let's just say it was like a magical type sword. Instead of like cutting, just beheading something, it would actually cut through their spirit as well. Something like that, giving this this creature unrest in the afterlife, let's say. And where is it? I had notes. But I think I had to put something more into, like it's, how did he get to this point, right? So like, let's say there was a sinister plan behind this Lord, this Fey Lord. It had to rid of all the enemies in the realm, or corruption, or something to do, and it had its own agenda. And they had to get rid of these executioner knights, because they did pose quite a threat, even though like they were loyal, but one day they might turn. So after they kind of rid his realm or its realm of all the enemies, ultimately this Lord turned and said, like, falsely accuses them of treason or something like that, curses all these knights. So the punishment, I would say, I'm still hashing it out, but like their punishment is that they have to collect these souls in this lantern, and they have to roam, these swamps where like this is the only area where you can access this realm, this Fey world. Maybe it's a pocket plane or something, but they roam around, they collect souls in the swamp. The swamp may have been battlegrounds at some point, or it's just a very, it's just a huge nexus of wandering spirits, perhaps. Maybe something draws these spirits to this location. So, they're cursed, they're twisted. I thought a really cool idea was like, this iron crown they wear is kind of like a mockery. So they didn't have this when they were serving the Fey Lord. This was kind of like the Fey Lord's personal touch of humiliation. So they kind of welded this iron crown upon these knights' heads, just for like a mockery of what they once stood for, which was, like the crown represents like the loyalty of the Fey Lord or something, or Undead Lord, or Sorcerer Lord. What else do I have? So like, I would say like the lantern is kind of like a gateway almost, right, for these souls. These cursed knights are twisted. They're part of the swamp, so they have like this bleached wood or pale wood spewing out of their rusted armor now. They just, they're just big, heavy, trudging along. Like maybe they hit like buses, right? They're just slow, but they just hit like a bus. So anyways, these lanterns, maybe they have, a purpose, like they're actual gateways for the spirits to get into the realm, the Fey Lord, or whatever realm you think would be kind of cool to have. And these knights would, protect these lanterns, because they believe that if they collect enough souls, they'll redeem themselves, because they think that, they legitimately did something wrong. So they're under the pretenses like, oh yeah, I gotta collect these souls to, prove myself once again. But, the cruel fact is that this curse is like a never-ending thing, and it's just fueling, maybe this Fey Lord's objective. Maybe he wants to build an army or something. Has some kind of nefarious plan. So like this lantern is the gateway, and let's see, what else did I have? It's basically just, it traps the soul, or perhaps it's just like a gateway for the souls, for maybe material, like a character player or something. Maybe they have to like, maybe there's a portal somewhere. They can't necessarily use the lantern because they're not a spirit. But I thought like maybe a couple like hooks that you could use in the game. This could be just like a one-off, just like a side quest or something like that. It doesn't have to be like, unless you want to like build a whole campaign around it. If you do, I'd be interested to hear it, because I love stories, and the creativity that comes with it. As far as the painting, the storytelling is awesome as well. But so like I would say like there's a legend that is behind this lantern, and there's rumors of local townsfolk that always talk about it. It's like the favorite bedtime story to talk about, maybe some villages surrounding the area. They have to like maybe they talk about how these souls are trapped, and the way to free them is you have to shatter the lantern or do some kind of ritual, which is impossible feat, it seems, because these gigantic knight type creatures are they will defend this lantern till death, or whatever you would want to call it. I don't know if they're to be undead or not. The master, what else do I have here? Enemy of the Lantern King's former master has put a bounty on the creature, offering a powerful artifact, and anyone who can deliver the lantern. So let's just say like I was also thinking to nearly get some like bad actors, shady characters, they approach the players like, hey, this item, this lantern, of legend, if you've heard, and I'm sure you have, like they might come off saying like, oh yeah, it's just something sentimental, or maybe it's part of our religion or something like that, and they could give the players like a false story about what it is and what it's all about. In reality, they they'd be like, hey, we need this lantern because, you know, it's high power, it has a bunch of souls, right? Maybe this, you know, shady character or this mob or this cult or guild or like, you know, and the deals with a devil or something, so they need, you know, they're like, oh, we need this lantern because it has all these souls in it, right? Something crazy. And, you know, they task the players to go out into the swamps. It could be like, you know, called like the Palewood Swamps or something. And let's say like it's pretty rare to see one of these nights. They're very elusive maybe, or they come out on certain nights or something. But, you know, it'd be quite the encounter. Like if it's going to be a one-off, then maybe it's like I wouldn't say like a world boss, but like if it's going to be like a one-time, like, you know, Dark Souls, you got bosses everywhere. So maybe it's kind of like a side quest type, you know, there isn't really a mission. You just face this, you know, boss stack kind of creature. But yeah, I could go on and on and on, right? That's the beauty of, you know, creating stories, and, you know, D&D's is the best thing ever, Pathfinder, you know, all these tabletop games. But I do want to make more of these videos, these paint overs, and then give them some kind of like background or something like that. I would really appreciate it if you guys would comment something on maybe what you would want to see in the future videos as well. With that, I will leave you to, you know, maybe using this idea and creating something awesome. All right, till next time.